Sides have had problems ahead of this game, and Widnes have been busy in the transfer market, or rather the loan market, bringing in Stephen Tyra from St Helens at the very last minute. Hardman at full-back, Gaskell, Tyra, Dean, Dodd, Duffy and Matty Smith. In the forwards, Morrison, Bezic, Gannon, Fletcher, Noon and Patterson. And on the bench, Stephen Roper, Adel Falous, Jason Crooks and Ben Kavanagh. Salford City Reds, they had a late problem with Philip Luluai having to withdraw because of a neck injury. It means a return at full-back for Carl Fitzpatrick as coach Sean McRae shuffles things around. Gardner, Littler, Wilshire moves into the centres, Paul White, Robbie Paul, Richard Myler. In the pack, Stapleton, Ulker, Nash, Bannister, Adamson and Turner. And on the bench, Paul Heighton, Stephen Ratchford, Jason Walton and Adam Sidlow for coach Sean McRae. Great build-up to this game. They're hoping for a record crowd in National League One, and that's going to be boosted by almost 2,000 local school children who are here and in the mood for a bit of fun. And they have been making a lot of noise for quite a long time now, armed with those clackers as well, but they are here to enjoy what they hope will be a big win for their hometown team against the Salford City Reds. And the Reds, well, they know they're in for a big one. They had a big one last time out against the Celtic Crusaders, winning that to go through to the Northern Rail Cup final. Now they have to back up here at Widnesville.
And that is a physical challenge for them here today, and I think a mental one as well. The game only played last Saturday, a relatively short turnaround for the Reds, who went through a very, very tough confrontation down there in Bridgend against the Crusaders. And they know that themselves, they'll have to start in a very aggressive, vigorous manner against a pumped-up Widnes side.
And it's a Widnes side that, as mentioned, has been boosted by the recruitment of Stephen Tyra from St Helens today, and it really was last minute. The Vikings sporting director, Terry O'Connor, was burning the midnight oil to make sure that deal went through, and to facilitate it, they then had to sign Ben Kavanagh from Wigan for a fee so that he was taken off the loan register, only allowed 4 loan players at the moment. So they've signed Kavanagh today, they've brought Tyra in on loan. They've also this week recruited Matty Smith on loan from St Helens as well. So they've really had to strengthen things, and this is because they do have injury problems, and you can see Bob Bezic leading the side out. Another absentee today is Mark Smith, who dislocated his elbow against Halifax in their last game, a disappointing 30 points to 40 defeat against Halifax. Smith out for 6 weeks, Bezic will be at hooker. I fancy the absence of Mark Smith might be a disadvantage for the Vikings.
But many people in modern day rugby league think that the hooker is the most important player in the side. He touches the ball more than any other player, and he tends to control and dictate the way that his team attack. Without Mark Smith, Bob Bezic has to take on extra responsibility, and he's hoping that his Widnes players alongside him, who've had the extra time in preparation, can get up and over the Salford rivals.
And there is Stephen Tyra, literally in at the deep end. Referee is Ron Lawton, and he will get this game underway, and there is a great atmosphere here. They have certainly pulled out all the stops to try and get this record crowd and beat that total set by Celtic Crusaders when they beat Featherstone at Bridgend in May, 6,152. We will have to wait and see whether that is a National League One record. The game is underway, and it's the Widnes Vikings getting things started through the boot of Matty Smith, and the first touch for Steve Nash, and a first reception committee, and the Viking supporters like that endeavour from Morrison and Paul Noon as they put their shoulders in for that first hit of the game.
Steve Nash and Adam Sidlow both spent time as juniors here at the Widnes Club, but what an atmosphere here at the Halton Stadium or the Stobart Stadium. It's fantastic, and let's see if the players can rise to this atmosphere.
Well, Widnes need to rise to the atmosphere. There's Carl Fitzpatrick back in this Salford starting lineup, having been dropped after the defeat at Whitehaven, but in the absence of Philip Luluai, coach Sean McRae shuffling things around, and Fitzpatrick has the ball back. And it is an important game for the Widnes Vikings, because despite the fact that they've managed to wipe off that 9-point deduction, they've still got a lot of work to do if they are to climb the table. And here's Hardman. Across the field from the Vikings fullback until he's put to ground by the Reds chasers. Gaskell, and he's lost ground for Widnes. They haven't been in great shape in recent weeks, the Vikings. They've lost the last 3 games. They've conceded 124 points in the process. So Coach Steve McCormack knows that there's a lot of improvement needed from his side.
I don't think either set of supporters have really had the pre-season expectations fulfilled so far. But I think there's great potential for both of these sides in the second half of the year to kick on and take it to another level.
That went backwards, said the referee, as Fitzpatrick fumbled. A really lively atmosphere here, and having 2,000 screaming school kids certainly adds to the volume.
And I spotted a young Bethany O'Connor in the audience as well. Ball just going backwards from Carl Fitzpatrick. It's important the speed of the line and the emotion of the day doesn't get either team carried away. I'm noticing both sets of players just in danger of giving that penalty away. They need to control that.
Big hit on Stapleton by Fletcher. And then the penalty, knock on by Stapleton. I thought he was going to be, the Widnes Vikings were going to be penalised there.
Well, there was a potential for a few penalties here, wasn't there? Had Stapleton walked off the mark? Did Fletcher get involved with his feet and kick the ball out of play? Or does Stapleton even lose the ball while getting to his feet? It's a decision that's gone in favour of the home side.
Sean McRae not impressed by that. First penalty of the game going to the Widnes Vikings, and Hardman picked up, spun around and ends up facing his own try line. Noon now. Noon does well to offload that ball, and Hardman was alert to it. Here's Jim Gannon now.
There's 2 old heads, Jim Gannon.
Oh, Gannon's lost it. And the penalty goes against Salford. The ball was stolen, and then there was back chat. And Ron Lawton marches them back and calls Malcolm Alker over.
Well, there's a big clampdown on dissent at the moment. And in Super League last weekend, Luke Robinson for the Huddersfield side was actually sent off for dissent to the referee. Malcolm Alker and his teammates will be conscious of that fact. Now then, he lifts him here. Jim Gannon loses the ball. Malcolm Alker furious with the decision. Like Barry says, you must control your emotions early on in the match, particularly.
And Malcolm Alker's a real guiding light for this Salford side, as Sean McRae looks on, just tells his captain, look, just calm it down, because every Salford player looks to Malcolm Alker to gauge what kind of attitude they have. Very important player for Salford.
So Richard Fletcher just about bang on in front of the posts and bang on between those posts puts Widnes Vikings 2-0 up early in this game after Salford are penalised and then marched a further 10. And come on you Vikings is the call for Steve McCormack's side. Once of course coach at Salford, that ended ignominiously for him, but he's resurrected his career via Whitehaven, of course, did a great job in Cumbria, and now he's stuck with Widnes despite the problems they've had here in Cheshire.
Discipline when we get there.
So the restart, and Duffy is underneath it, and then Ian Morrison comes cantering upfield. He's tackled. Gaskell. These two sides shared a 16-all draw earlier in the season in National League One, a real thriller. Now that ball's come loose, and it was a knock-on, says the referee Ron Lawton.
Well, it was a double knock-on, wasn't it? Bob Bezic, famous for getting his arms free in the tackle late as he's going to the ground and offloading to a teammate. Here he loses possession, then a Salford player, as the ball's on the ground, I think it's Nash, knocks on again, but Salford will and should get possession from this scrum, and Robbie Paul clears it wide to Myler. Richie
Myler, one of the few ex-Widnes players out there, now wearing the Reds colours. Myler. Bannister. Here's Robbie Paul. A bit of a worry about Robbie Paul ahead of this game for the Reds as well. Didn't train yesterday because of a bit of a neck problem, but here he is now, Robbie Paul. Floats the ball out wide to Littler. They could be in at the corner here. They are in at the corner with Paul White. Great finishing from Paul White for his 20th try of the season. He's taken a knock in scoring it. He had to run through the tackle, and the inscrutable Salford City Reds coach is no doubt pleased with the response from his side.
Well, it all came about, I think, because Bob Bezic inside his own half of the field, too ambitious an offload with 2 and 3 defenders around him. this setup of position, but the construction of this try is fantastic. 2 plays to suck in the Widnes defenders, and then you can see they're already short wide. I think the pass from Littler is fantastic onto Adamson, and it's a really classy finish from the wingman. As the ball gets out there, it's important then when he receives the ball wide, that he steps back inside. He has to get over the line, evades Hardman, and I think scores importantly to settle the nerves and build the confidence of the Salford side here early in this match.
Well, he's obviously picked up a bang in scoring that try, but he really is in great form this season, Paul White. He's now doubled his best ever tally for tries in a season, and there's still plenty of distance yet for him to increase that. 20 tries. We got a couple last weekend against the Celtic Crusaders. So did this guy, John Wilshere. He also kicked 6 goals, 6 from 6. But this one, starting off with a very tricky one from wide out, looking to drift it in. The Salford supporters behind those posts unmoved, which suggests clearly that he failed. But Salford ahead by 4 points to 2.
There's a willingness for Salford to expose the shortage of defenders out wide. It's Robbie Paul who passes the ball, but just look at the way that Paul White keeps in the field of play, puts the ball in his right arm. Normally you'd put it in your left to fend off, but he knows he can use it to bump off and get the ball down.
From the restart, Salford in possession. Through Myler, Wilshere now, and here's Nash. Once a Widnesian. He probably still is a Widnesian at heart, but he's now in the Salford camps. Stapleton.
Well, a much underrated player, Craig Stapleton, particularly for the Salford side. You saw he was involved in the play prior to the try. He sucks in the defenders. Big, strong, tough, mature prop. And now there'll be a penalty awarded to Salford here for offside. Widnes just jumping the gun, moving up before, not getting back onside. You can see here 2 or 3 players, Morrison the number 8, Bezic in 9, both are in front of the referee, and he's informed by the touch judges on the side of the field, and then makes the decision.
So Steve McCormack's side are backtracking once again after another penalty, and just while we were watching that replay, referee Ron Lawton was having a word with Craig Stapleton. Despite the fact that Salford had got the penalty, wasn't impressed with something that was said ahead of that by Stapleton, so he's had a word with him as well. He's obviously clamping down on any dissent. Widnes need to clamp down on Salford now, because Myler was threatening then, they're right in front of the posts. Ulker. The ball ricochets out wide and reaches Matt Gardner. Gardner comes across the field and it's 6 to go. Still going with Adamson now. Adamson then brings it back and Bannister launches himself towards the try line. I don't think he could believe the acres of space ahead of him there. Tackles are plenty in hand for Salford. And they're hammering at this Widnes line at the moment, looking to assert their authority early on, and then a nothing pass from Robbie Paul there, really. Rescued by Alka. Myler. Widnes managing to keep him at bay at the moment. Robbie Paul, Littler trying to go himself this time. He's smuggled the ball in field, but it finds touch. Good defence by Widnes, under a lot of pressure there, and managing to keep Salford out.
Well, it took a massive effort from Widnes here defensively, because you can see the ball movement from Salford. They've been over to the right wing, they eventually find themselves over on the left wing where Littler's carried out. But it's forced the Widnes players to put in a massive effort there, defending their own line. You need that level of commitment, but you want to hope that your team don't spend too long in a match doing that sort of work.
It's Stephen Tyrer coming up with a big play, big defensive play. That's his first contribution.
Get in, stay in! It's out!
Well, of course, he was involved in Super League action last week. Matty Smith was very much involved with St Helens in the playoff stages last season. They've brought in some real talent. They're missing several players at the moment. Tommy Gallagher is one of them. Tim Hartley, another one. Hartley, though, apparently back in training. There is Smith. Now John Duffy. Duffy recruited from Whitehaven earlier in the year. Duffy. Smith. thumps that one downfield. Good strong kick that is. Almost it is too strong.
20 restart.
When he's trying to pair up your half-backs, your 6 and 7, you look at a kicking game for one, and you look at one that'll put the ball, tuck it under his wing and go. And I think Widnes have got that. Matty Smith, a great kicker of the ball, and John Duffy, again, he'll cause all kinds of troubles when he's got the ball.
Get a foot on it.
Salford ahead by 4 points to 2 then, behind early on to a penalty, but scoring that try from Paul White, and again trying to use that their left-hand side. Lovely sunny evening. And Robbie Paul finds White, but nowhere for the winger to go, has to play the ball on the halfway line. Nash collared and loses possession. I think Salford have got it back, and the referee has blown for the first knock-on. But whose was the first knock-on?
I think it was Patterson, the loose forward, who is adjudged here. He comes up with a good shot, just gets his hand in front, I think.
Okay, hold it there, lads.
And he's still...
Widnes V. Yeah.
Ron Lawton is still awaiting some guidance, I think.
Widnes V.
And eventually comes to the conclusion that it'd be Widnes head and feed.
Well, it's a tough decision. You could watch it 100 times and still never be certain, I think. One that you can't criticise the referee for, but eventually he's made the decision to give the ball to Widnes, and I felt that they needed it. Salford's ball movement and the ground that they've been making with the ball superior to that of Widnes, and they needed to get some time in this half of the field.
Jim Gannon plays the ball, celebrated his 31st birthday earlier this week. Here's Ian Morrison, and Morrison runs into a big hit from Stapleton. Smith trying to step his way through. Bezic. Patterson.
4, now leaving. 4, go.
Bezic. Matty Smith now. Duffy back to Bezic. There was a hand in there, surely a Salford hand, but play continues with Gannon. That's the 5th tackle. Duffy stabs the kick in, and the ball is gathered up by Robbie Paul. It came straight at him and he clung onto it for dear life. Good work from Littler.
Well, an excellent save here from Robbie Paul. He predicted where the ball was going to go. That was the first job, and then he had to make sure he collected in one motion. A knock on there, they would have had to defend another set on the line. And you see one or two of the Salford players puffing here. The ball's come free from Gardner. The referee says play on. Gardner
went without it on the first tackle. And Gaskell runs it back infield.
Hold one, hold it, lads. 1, go.
And he just cleanly loses it, doesn't it, in a one-on-one challenge with Matthew Smith, as John Duffy now tries to take on this Salford defence.
2, now release. 2, go.
Here's Morrison, and Morrison again thundering right into where the big hits are made. And I think he's already copped one, as Ian Morrison looks as though he's got a bloody nose, and that ball's come loose. Noon it was who went without it.
Come on, lads. Keep coming. 0, go.
So both sides guilty of not respecting possession.
That's a poor start, really, isn't it, in terms of the control of the ball. That was too easy for Widnes to give up the ball, but Salford, you can tell early in this game, have a clear plan to go to their left-hand side of the field. Tyrer and that channel is going to be attacked. And a second penalty now against Bob Bezic for being offside.
Robbie, have a word with this lad here. Tell him to get his foot on the
Sean
ball.
McCrae were relieved. You know, it was amazing in Super League last weekend, as we see again, the players just jumping too early. An average of over 60 points in the 6 games in Super League last weekend. Similar conditions in terms of weather and field surface here tonight. One would suspect we will see a high-scoring game as the match progresses.
Stapleton is tackled on that Widnes 40-metre line.
1, go.
Again, he's having a little go at the referee, and I would think that he's probably got to bear in mind his last discussion with Ron Lawton.
2, leave him. 2, go.
Here's Olker. Turner, and Wiltshire is immediately collared.
Hold here, go. 3.
Myler. Here's Paul Heighton on the field for the Salford City Reds.
Leave him. 4,
Remember, there's no Philip Luluai in this Salford lineup, having to pull out with a neck problem. The kick to the corner, too strong. Well, it's well positioned, but applause all round, but Widnes will get head and feed.
Well, he looked in two minds, didn't he, with the kick? I think it went far harder than he would have hoped. I think it was an attacking kick. He wanted to threaten Widnes by keeping the ball in play. There's Adel Fallouz, French recruit here at Widnes, just on the sideline we see, about to enter the field.
He'll add some impact. There's some fire in that on that pitch now. Jim Gannon, Craig Stapleton, Adel Fallouz.
Yeah, I think it's Ian Morrison who's the problem.
Okay, mate, yeah, play him on.
As mentioned earlier, got a bang on the nose, so Fallouz is going to have to replace him.
And I think Ian Morrison is very much in the Mick Cassidy role. Very unselfish, very workmanlike, just gets on with his job, keeps jamming it in as hard as he can. Thus, he comes up with the odd blood bin now and then.
Once a London Bronco, Ian Morrison, and one of the Scottish internationals out there. Of course, Steve McCormack, the Scottish international coach. Gaskell playing ducks and drakes with the Salford defenders, but they get a hold of him. Bezic, Patterson, Matty Smith now. Smith looking for a 40-20, is he? It's over the head of White, but it hasn't got the legs.
It's an excellent kick, and the thing that Matthew Smith always provides, he'll set off and make that chase first. He tends to encourage his teammates. If the guy who's kicked the ball sets off at 100 miles an hour, the other players tend to go alongside him. It's helped trap Salford inside their own 20-metre zone.
Salford just over their 30-metre line, and Gardner plays the ball. Stapleton once more. Great recruit he was when they signed him from Cronulla. No stranger to the British game, of course. A season at Lee when he was ever present, in fact, in 2005. The kick downfield is fielded at the second attempt by Hardman. Plays the ball on the 20. Gavin Dodd now. Here is the French international Adel Fallouz. Gets the ball away. Bezic. Patterson, Paul Noon now. Puff of the cheeks from Noon, and it is a bit of a puff of the cheeks job from Widnes at the moment, but they get the penalty.
Wow, well, again, one of those decisions which you could easily see going in favour of either side. Is there interference in the play of the ball, or does he fail to play the ball correctly? Depends whether you're shouting for the Reds or the Black and Whites here. The referee awarded in favour of Widnes, and it's a great opportunity now as we come to the end of the first quarter of this match.
Just the one try so far, that going to Salford's Paul White. Oh, and on the first tackle, they've spilled the ball. Paul Noon, the force of the tackle, dislodging that one, and Salford bring it away.
That's a good shot, that though, Bill. Both Salford defenders got right under the ball, picked Noon up and just forced the ball. That's great defensive effort.
Here's Paul Heighton now. Heighton wrestled to the ground.
Well, that's Jordan Turner's shoulder, really primarily responsible for that handling error, as Stapleton now makes valuable metres. I think the Salford side at the moment able to make more ground in possession.
Myler with Bannister in support, but then they've lost that ball. First knock on, it was knocked down, says referee Lawton. And I think it was a Widnes hand in there.
This side, lads. Salford end feed.
And Widnes it was who just dislodged that ball. It was Richard Fletcher's hand. So head and feed to Sean McRae's side. Myler, Robbie Paul, Stuart Littler now. Littler. Tyra with the tackle eventually. Alka. Adamson is tackled about 35 metres out. Alka. Heighton still trying to make yards for his side despite the attention of Noon. Here's Fitzpatrick. He's tackled by Patterson.
Go.
Steady progress, if not spectacular, from this Salford side. Well, that looked like being spectacular from Myler for a moment, but he went without the ball.
Oh, was it Noon involved with Myler? I think he seemed to knock the ball out. The referee says that the player himself, Myler, lost control. And now the Widnes fans cheering delight as they're awarded a penalty. Salford offside.
I think that's good reaction. Here we have the dislodged ball. It's Noon who dislodges it from Myler. Widnes are quick to react, and they catch Salford not back ready defensively.
So Widnes have possession and an opportunity now maybe to put a bit of pressure on this Salford defence if they can keep a hold of the ball. And Noon makes sure he does so this time. Bezic, Matty Smith now, Duffy pops the ball up, and Christine it was who was on the charge. Beg your pardon, it was Richard Fletcher. Here's Fallouse now, Fallouse. Bit of footwork, and then he's tackled on that 10-metre line. I think this is the closest Widnes have been to that Salford try line. Duffy had Hardman in support on his inside, couldn't get the pass to him. That's the 5th tackle. Needs a good kick from Matty Smith. It's one into the corner. The ball's not back, and it's still alive, still on the last, and that'll be the turnover.
Well, sometimes we see spectacular catches from crossfield kicks. There we've seen some superb defence. Salford had the right number of players in the right positions, dealt with the threat as it came over, and then managed to contain any second effort or threat there.
Big shout of forward from the Widnes supporters ahead of that pass to Jordan Turner, but play continues. Stapleton doing well to get that ball away, and Fitzpatrick reacting very quickly. It was almost behind him. Alka, Bezic not going to let him get away, and then Fletcher it is who snaffles that ball up.
It's going to be interesting to see whether Craig Stapleton gets a bit more game time today. Philip Lulai unable to play for the Salford side. Malcolm Alka offloads the ball to a Widnes player, and Widnes again in a good attacking position in Salford's red zone.
And Gaskell doing well there. He got away first from Turner, then from Stapleton, and then gets a penalty for interference there. And do they go for 2 points? Bob Bezic looking to the sidelines for a bit of guidance.
Well, the game needed an injection of pace, and Gaskell provided that. It was a quick and aggressive dummy half run, one of the best in this league at doing so. And as he get up to play the ball, it's been interfered with. Although again here now the tempo and flow of the match is stopped here as Widnes appear to be kicking at goal.
I'm not sure I would have gone for 2. Would you, Phil? I think they've had been starved of a little bit of possession in good position, and could have made Salford work a little bit harder. This way both teams get a break. What do you reckon?
Well, I'm never really in favour of kicking at goals, although on many occasions I've been proved to be wrong. You tend to see 20-30 points scored in a match, and I don't know whether 2 points alone at this point in the game is going to determine the winner.
Well, bear in mind it was 16-all when they met in April, so
but you need some tries, and you know what, if you get close to your opponent's line, that's your best chance of scoring a try.
Well, they've scored 2 points with that successful penalty. Fletcher again on target. The scores are level at 4 points all. Salford no strangers to draws this season, not just the draw with Widnes, but they've also drawn against Sheffield. The Reds beaten just once in National League One this season, and that was that memorable night at Whitehaven. Well, memorable for Whitehaven. Sean McRae doesn't like to be reminded of it. McNally's night, I think they're probably calling it now, at the recreation ground. And Greg McNally scored that hat-trick, and that was a bad night for the Salford City Reds. Fallouse thundering forward with that ball. The once Catalan Dragon and Toulouse player, he's now a free agent. And Widnes, G'd up by that successful penalty, put them back on level terms. Bezic, Duffy anticipated his run and was motoring when he took that pass, gets him across the halfway line. And Bezic again, and Bezic, smart work from the hooker. He's got support from Duffy again. Has Duffy got the legs? Oh! Hardman couldn't take it! Oh! Glory be, what a chance that was. What a build-up it was. And the pass, well, to be fair to Ian Hardman, was flung at him by Duffy, and he just couldn't take it.
Well, it all came about because of the big guys running hard, finding some quicker play of the balls, and that speed around the play of the ball area created the opportunity for Duffy, for Bezic, but they can't get that final pass to Hardman. That would have been a sensational back-to-back score, really, on the back of the penalty, to go the length of the field and put the ball under the post.
They're going to look back at that and think that that was a possible try, and a definite try, should I say. An old saying in rugby league, good uns catch bad uns, and that was a bad pass and they needed to score that.
But that'll give Bob Bezic a bit of inspiration, because he really sliced through that Salford City Reds cover there. Oh, and Steve McCormack knows that this game is likely to be just as the game was at the Willows, very close, and they can't afford to bomb chances like that. Their first real clear-cut chance of the game, in actual fact, and we've had 25 minutes.
Well, you wonder whether it's a tactic by the Widnes side to target the Salford defenders in the middle of the field. We said there's a possible fatigue element. Having played last weekend, a tough game in the semi-final of the Cup, the Northern Rail Cup, and by continuously sending players down that middle channel, you're making those middle defenders defend more, quicker play the balls, target it running from dummy half.
And they're the ones that get tired the quickest, and I think Adelphilus, with the way he kicked or ran the kick-off, and he started that.
Well, there's a rare sight against the head. Salford getting possession, and then I think the penalty for offside against Widnes. So Widnes, from scoring, almost scoring up at the other end of the ground, now find themselves under pressure on their own try line. So the Reds in possession. Bannister plays the ball, Alka, Myler, Heighton couldn't take that one, it was always an ambitious pass. And the Welsh international was struggling to get a hold of that one, and immediately possession is turned over. But they're offside again.
Six involved in the tackle. Six involved in the tackle. Just got to go on. Six involved in the tackle.
Well, saying that six was involved in the tackle, it's John Duffy. I think it's fair, he was in front, he was in an offside position, and as though he's involved in the tackle, the referee rightly penalises him.
On your line.
Now then, will they go for the 2 points here? And Wilshire will do that, so they really are taking every scoring opportunity that comes their way now. And is there the danger that they'll get trapped in this cycle of caution then? They go for 2 points, we'll go for 2 points, and nobody is prepared to gamble.
I think Salford probably look the more tired side, and perhaps it's an opportunity for them to, here's the scrum. I mean, it's amazing to actually lose the ball from a scrum. That's poor really by Widnes. Quick thinking by Richie Myler.
As good as it is there.
And if they can kick this, then I think Richard Myler deserves the 2 points.
That's what led to this penalty eventually. And Sean McRae, I know, was worried before this game because of the fallout from the trip to Wales. He said it was hot. Celtic Crusaders pushed them all the way. The ground was very, very firm. And his side apparently have not been that impressive subsequently in training.
I think he was worried about his busted bodies and players who were carrying knocks and bumps as they get the 2 points. Sometimes that can solidify your team. You look at the bloke at the side here and you know you can count on him whether he's injured or not. Other times players can look like or look for an easy option and say, well, I did play and I played hard last weekend, I need a rest. Which one will it be? I think we'll find out shortly.
So Widnes to restart. And Myler is underneath that one. Sidlow is on for the Salford City Reds. Another former Widnes lad, Adam Sidlow. Robbie Paul now. Heighton. Here is Sidlow. Bit of an ungainly mover, Adam Sidlow, but there's plenty of him. Robbie Paul inside his 40, looking for a 40-20. That one skipping downfield, but then just taking a wrong turn, and Gaskell managing to salvage the situation.
It could turn out to be better than the 40-20, the position that they have Widnes in at the moment.
Widnes having to work hard to get this ball out of the danger zone. Hardman again. Oh, and then a helping blow of the whistle from referee Lawton relieves some of the pressure.
I was just going to say, it's amazing how quickly defenders will move up when they have a chance to trap their opponents in goal. But Luke Adamson's been adjudged by the referee to move up too quickly, and that's what Widnes needed.
I think it's the sniff of blood when you've got your opponents on their try line. You know that you've got good momentum, you can get forward and knock somebody's lights out, and that's what inspires the players.
Bezic, Matty Smith now, Fallouse again. Fallouse thought about offloading that one, had Gannon in support, but clung on in the end wisely. Patterson now, Patterson, Hardman, Chris Dean now. Dean, another one of the players taken on loan from St Helens by the Widnes Vikings. Patterson, Gannon now. Gannon through the first line, goes without the ball. Fitzpatrick gobbles it up.
Well, it's almost half an hour since we had the last try. You see Gannon get his arms free through the line. He knows that Fallouse is at the side. I think the reason why we've almost had 30 minutes between tries, if we get another one, is because of the handling control from both sides. Pretty poor at this in the game so far. Too many mistakes in possession.
Just to talk about that incident specifically, if you're going to offload the ball in your right arm, it's a difficult skill that. It's got to be from one arm to the opposite side.
Well, Salford now committing the same offence. Paul Heighton it was, the guilty man this time, just trying to get the ball out in an impossible situation, and Widnes have it back with Hardman. Takes it back in field, the full-back. Sidlow and Robbie Paul with the tackling. Here is Jim Gannon. Gannon, straight up the middle, right in front of those posts. Here is Duffy. Duffy, Hardman overran it. Fallouse, and Fallouse, a mad pass. Myler has snapped it up. Now then, Tyra is chasing him back. But has Myler got the legs? They're going to close him down. Tyra and Dean were there, and Myler couldn't get there, but they haven't finished yet. Here's Wilshire. Wilshire is tackled by Noon. If they can get out of this, Widnes, they'll be doing really well. And Widnes have managed to get all the troops back. Gardner using his brute force to try and get there, but he's hurled back from the line by the Widnes defenders. Wilshire now. Wilshire taking him on himself. Adamson. And the whistle of the referee sounds once more, and again it's offside against Widnes Vikings.
Well, Paul Noon was the player who actually saved Widnes. After the break, which of course Tyra got back on Myler, it was Noon who made the next tackle. His teammates owe him a little bit of payback here. Can they keep Salford out for 6 tackles?
Bannister drives it in for the first tackle. Alka now. Long pass finds Robbie Paul. Immediately they're giving it some width. And they're going for the line, and they're over the line with Walton. And has Jason Walton got that ball down, the 18-year-old?
I thought there was an obstruction on a Widnes defender.
Take 2 things for me, Phil. Just check the room through there whether there were an obstruction.
And that's exactly what Ron Lawton is asking the video ref Phil Bentham to have a look at.
We watched
the width of the passes.
The great passes.
Fantastic. Look at that. Ball's travelled about 40 metres with 2 accurate fast passes. And then there is potentially an obstruction on Stephen Tyra. He's the guy with the black number 3 jersey on.
I think it's Stuart Littlefield who
makes contact with him, doesn't he? Now, that's the decision that the video ref says. Does that impede the tackle then on Walton? If you go back to recent examples that we've seen in the Super League competition, this try will be denied.
Well, you're thinking of Kevin Sinfield at Harlequins last week, possibly.
And I'm also thinking of ones between Hull Kingston Rovers and St Helens, which actually was in the Challenge Cup.
I think he obstructs him enough for Stephen Tyra not to get there.
Phil Bentham, the video ref, having a good look at this one. Well, running it on to have a look at the grounding.
But it's hard to be critical of Littler because he could do little else. He's a run option here. They're going to award the try if he gets the ball down. And then he only had one chance at it, because I think by the time he rolls over, on that shot it did look like a try. Was it? Just out of vision.
I think Jason Walton has got that one down for his second try for the Salford City Reds, but has he? Yes, he has. Video ref Phil Bentham adjudicates in favour of the Salford City Reds, and Walton gets the try.
Well, it needed something, didn't it? And Richard Myler's vision here in defence. Widnes moving the ball around, trying to keep it alive, with the lively half-back, takes possession, pins the ears back and tries to outpace both centres. Eventually pulled down just about 20 metres short of the line, and Widnes did remarkably well to hang on for a few more plays. But Salford continued to go to their favoured side in this match, out wide on the far side of the field to the left flank, and Walton got the second score that they've come up with here tonight. Good, accurate, fast passing. Widnes already outnumbered, struggling to get over and cover. Gaskell goes wide to take the wingman, but Walton takes the try.
He's an England Academy international, young Jason Walton, and he's delighted with that one, as are the Salford supporters. And John Wiltshire not so delighted, because this one has given him another tricky conversion attempt from way out wide. And again looking to drift this one in, and again failing to find the targets. But Salford ahead by 10 points to 4 now, and Walton the latest try scorer for them.
As we see the crisp, clean hands, Malcolm Alker first, and Robbie Paul, who could have given it to Stuart Littler, but he picks Jason Walton, who shows a lot of determination to get that ball down in the corner. A young bloke I met in his time at Leeds, got a great future in the game, that kid.
So 5 minutes left in this first half. It has been, well, it hasn't been the classic that many people were hoping between these two big guns, but there's so much at stake for them. And Salford haven't been playing that well, but they are playing pretty well at the moment, and Bannister making a good break. Myler is in support. Myler's got Robbie Paul on his shoulder. Robbie Paul has got the legs still to get there, and back-to-back tries from the Salford City Reds. And Robbie Paul finishing that one off. But the break initially made by Stephen Bannister, really motoring up the middle of the field, and then Myler and Robbie Paul in support, and well, that's a bit more satisfactory for the Salford coaching setup there of McRae and Sims. Yes, says Robbie.
Well, I think that Stephen Bannister has tremendous potential. He could go all the way to the very top of this rugby league in this country, and it's a great break from him. Support by Myler, and then continued support by the other halfback, Robbie Paul. Both have made successful careers. Robbie Paul on the back of supporting men when they make breaks. It involves that extra effort. You require the anticipation to be in the right place at the right time. But I'll tell you what, it's important for Salford at this stage of the match. They've gone back to back, and maybe before half-time just taken some energy out of this Widnes outfit.
Robbie Paul getting his 4th try of the season, and not showing any ill effects of the bit of a neck problem he had in the build-up to this game. He did have back surgery before the start of the season, and it was fairly major back surgery as well. Wiltshire now, can he land his first success with the boot? And that he does. And with half-time approaching, Salford time their run with just the right precision to go 16-4 ahead now. Steve McCormack, well, disappointed with the way that just as the half-time break is looming, his side just drop off, and certainly in the case of that last try, Bannister was allowed to slip through the defence with alarming ease. Here's Walton.
Release him! 2 hold! Go!
Sidlow now.
3, get off the end!
The Widnes supporters are a bit subdued. The way that Salford have hammered those back-to-back tries in has really deflated the mood here. Alka up to the halfway line.
Get square! Get square! Go.
Myler then with the kick, and Myler clattered late by Fletcher, and Fletcher protesting his innocence to the referee. The referee, not impressed, goes straight to his pocket and pulls out a yellow card. And Fletcher was late on the scene there. And Richard Fletcher.
It is in slow motion, that, Bill.
Captain's
It is.
He wasn't late, he got there as quick as he could.
Boom.
Well, it's a killer for Widnes though now. Off the field for 10 minutes. And that's Salford have a sniff of something here. They've scored twice in the last few minutes. There's a late challenge on the kicker. It's a compulsory sin bin. That's now mandated as a rule to officials in the game. Salford have the potential to go on and score again.
Well, they're going to go for 2 points, in fact. Now, you look puzzled.
I can't believe with 12 men,
as well.
with 12 men on the pitch for Widnes that you would. And again, I think you're right, Phil. I think Salford are tired here, aren't they? They've chosen the safe option. 2 points. Let's just get to half-time.
Stay on time, lads.
Well, it'll be a justified decision if Wilshere kicks it. Clock counting down at the end of this first half. And Richard Fletcher in the sin bin for that late tackle. And Wilshere misses only narrowly, but they'll get the ball back.
There's never been a very accurate goal kicker. I don't think he's ever really been a comfortable goal kicker throughout his career here in the UK.
He kicked 6 from 6 last weekend at Celtic.
I'm looking over the last 5 years though, when he has had to kick for sides.
Such an important part of your team, a kicker. Such an important part. Disappointed with his efforts there, but again, you put your hand up, you do the job, and you miss, you miss. If you get it, you've done your best.
Stapleton. Salford ahead by 16 points to 4 then. And in the last minute of this first half, which has been a pretty stop-start affair, plenty of mistakes, and the coaches will certainly have something to say about that. But Salford, just as the first half is coming to a close, running with a bit more vigour, and then I put the mockers on it because Wilshere's gone without it, and Widnes pick it up as the hooter sounds. And Sean McRae, well, not looking that impressed, you'd have to say, the Reds coach.